Jai Gurudev. Once again, welcome for today's session. Yesterday we talked about abnormal molar masses. Before we further go ahead, I just want to recall what are colligative properties, and with the help of that, how to arrive at molar masses we understood. Before again going ahead, I just want you to recall what all we understood for a mole. For the term mole, what are the meanings we had? One, in terms of grams. 1 mole, 1 gram atomic or mass of one atom or molecule in terms of grams, 1 mole. Other meaning that we had for 1 mole is, if it is a gas, 22.4 liters at STP. Do not forget that. And another meaning that we had was 1 mole means 1 Avogadro number. We know what is that Avogadro number. That means 6.023 into 10 raised to 23 number of atoms, molecules, ions, whatever it is, in general, so many particles. Keep this in mind. And further we understood colligative property of a solution is that which depends on the amount of substance. Amount of substance is, so far we understood that whatever is the substance, I am not worried. Is it 1 mole of substance that we have added to arrive at that expected elevation in boiling point, depression in freezing point, all that. So that means we were understanding that it is only in terms of grams, molar mass, right? And we also know mole means something else. Probably what I understand when I got these abnormal molar masses, solution has understood what is the meaning of mole better than us. I repeat, solution has understood what is the meaning of mole better than us. So only it is giving abnormal molar masses. How? For example, if I put 1 mole of glucose with 1000 grams of water and find out what is the molar mass that I should get, it is as expected. So when I do the colligative, find out determine the colligative property, with the help of that determine the molar mass, and what you expect, both are one and the same. But if I put sodium chloride, as I explained yesterday, if I put sodium chloride, the molar mass that I get is half of what I expect. If I put acetic acid, again explained yesterday, what is that value that I am going to get? Molar mass that I get after determining the colligative property is double than what I expect. So now for these observations, for these abnormal molar masses which I get, I should find a reason. If somebody comes to you, this is the problem that I have, nobody is helping. So what that which you say? If you are a good friend, you have to give confidence to him. What is the confidence that you give to him? What is the confidence that you give to him? Don't worry, मैं हूँ ना. Do you say it or not? And will you make him go happily without any disturbance? So here, to find out why that abnormal molar mass, but this is what I expected. So for you also I am telling, मैं हूँ ना, I will give you the way to go ahead. Now for this मैं हूँ ना, in English I want 1 alphabet. If somebody comes to you, what is that which you have to tell? Don't tell मैं हूँ ना, all that. Right? You just think of me. Tell me 1 alphabet in English which will give me that happiness. Yes, I need not worry. He is there, he will help. Come on, quickly. 1 English alphabet which will tell, I am with you. What is it? Yes, somebody is saying, I, my hona, don't worry. But if I say I am proud, no, I am humble. So in that case, what is that which I should do? Small I. Right? I don't want to boast myself by writing capital. I am humble. I will serve. Still, same meaning, I. So, what is that which I should know? For that solute in the given solution, or for that solute with that solvent, how that solute is going to behave, that if I know, that will solve my problem. That is not me. Property of that substance will help me to arrive at why this difference, why abnormal molar masses, and with the help of that, again, how to get the expected molar mass. Right? So, what is I, we will see. So, when you perform an experiment with a known non-volatile solute, you get abnormal molar masses and you expect some molar masses. So, now we have got two values with you. One is expected molar mass, one observed molar mass. Observed molar mass may be abnormal for you. Expected, that is normal molar mass. So, now if I find a ratio between these two, that will solve my problem to arrive at what I expect, what I observe, and then yes, now with that factor of I, problem will get solved. So, for that, what that which we should do? Now I should know in what way I should have this relation between abnormal molar mass and expected molar mass. So, we will write a relation. What is the relation? Normal molar mass. What is this normal molar mass? This is the expected molar mass. After studying the qualitative property of it, what is that the experimental observation is giving you? That is abnormal molar mass. For example, yesterday we talked about normal molar mass for sodium chloride. How much you should get? 58.5. That is expected, 58.4. After colligative property, how much we got? Almost, we said 29 grams. We got 29 grams. How much you got? 29 grams. How much you get? How much you should get? 58.5. Can I find a ratio between these two? It is almost how much? 2 approximately. Almost 2. What is the relation that we had for arriving at molar mass with the help of amyloscopic method, cryoscopic method? What is the relation that we had? We had that relation, delta Tb equal to Kb into m. Same way, delta Tf equal to Kf into m. With the help of this relation, when you arrive at molar mass, you will not get 58.5, you get 29. But if you want to get 58.5, what I should do? Whatever is that relation that you are going to have, with that you are going to get 29, you know. But if you want to get 58.5, what that which you should do? Whatever value that you get finally, multiply by 2. If you multiply by 2, your problem is over. Who is helping? This relation is helping. Who is this? What is this relation that is helping? I. What is I? It is a relation between expected molar mass, observed molar mass. Observed molar mass is abnormal. Normal molar mass as you expect. That was creating confusion for us, and then afterwards we are telling these methods are of no use now. Only it will help for glucose, for others it will not help. But now we found a method. So that means that relation which we had for arriving at molar masses, and for the elevation in boiling points, delta T be equal to Kb into m. No, delta T be equal to Kb into something into m. What is that something? What is that something? Instead of writing that, I will write I. Kb into I into m. What is I? This relation. That relation will help you to arrive at molar mass. So, if you take this relation and find out molar mass, what do you expect? What do you observe? Both will be same. Here I said it is 2. Sir, is it always 2? No. It depends on what is the solute that you have added. So, what will that solute do when you add to the solvent? All solutes, right, will not behave as you wish. They have their own reasons to behave when they mix up with the solvent. If you put sodium chloride into water, it will not remain as sodium chloride units in water. What will happen? Sodium chloride that you put into water will break into sodium ions, chloride ions. Why they break off? Last year we understood in thermodynamics. Solvation takes place. Understood? Recall. So, sodium ions, chloride ions, after solvation they get separated. So, by putting 1 mole of sodium chloride in terms of grams, if I put, what has happened? That sodium chloride, if all sodium chloride that you have put 58.5 grams, if all 58.5 grams break off as sodium and chloride ions, how many number of particles are going to be there? Now we got the reason. For that only I said, solution has understood the meaning of mole better than us. We were thinking of only in terms of grams, but that solution will behave not in terms of amount of substance, in terms of number of particles that are present. How many particles are present? If I put 1 mole of sodium chloride, I will think 1 mole of particles are present. 1 mole of particles, 6.02 into 10 raised to 23. But how many actually are present? Double than that. So, as double the number of particles are present, according to that it has shown the colligative property. And with the help of that, later when you find out what is the mass that you get, it is not right. 29 grams per mole is not of sodium, is not of chlorine, it is in between. That means that colligative property which has given the molar mass, right, based on the number of particles, average of that masses of those particles, that is the value which I am going to get. For that only again I repeat, solution has understood the number of particles better than us, and we are thinking only in terms of 58.5 grams molality, right, and with that we were fighting. So, what will happen to solute when you add to water? That will decide how much is to be the elevation in boiling point, how much is to be the depression in the freezing point, that will decide. So, now we have to make some correction in our definition for colligative property. What is that which you have said? Colligative property is the property of a solution which depends on the amount. Amount means we are thinking only in terms of grams, number of moles. Now we have to be very clear in terms of number of particles it will depend. So, first we said irrespective of the solute that you have put, it depends only on the amount. Now, no, right? Amount and the nature of the solute also will decide what is the colligative property. What is the nature? If you put some substance, it may break. It may break means it may dissociate, like sodium chloride dissociates. Then of course, it will show the colligative property. So, if you expect with the help of 1 mole of sodium chloride with 1 kg of water, elevation in boiling point 1 degree Celsius, but if you do the experiment and then find out what is the elevation in boiling point, it will be 2 degrees Celsius almost. Why? Because number of particles are not as you expected, because double the number of particles are present. That will decide what is going to be the elevation in boiling point. Clear? Keep that in mind. Again, as I said, it will not be always 2. If I put magnesium chloride, if I put instead of NaCl, if I put MgCl2 and calculate the molar mass with the help of all this colligative property, I will not get as I expect. But the value which I am going to get is 1/3. What is, why 1/3? Magnesium chloride, if it completely dissociates, you will have 1 mole of magnesium ions and 2 moles of Cl minus ions, right? 1 mole of Mg2 plus ion and 2 moles of Cl minus. 3 moles of particles are present in terms of Avogadro number. Keep it in mind. So, the value that I expect and the value that I get, when I find out, right, the molar mass that I get will be 1/3 of it. And then if I want to get what I expect, what that which I should do, you got 1/3 of it, multiply by 3, then you will get what you expect. Why you are multiplying with that? That means nature of the solute is deciding, it is undergoing dissociation. And what will be that value of I? It will not be 2, it will be 3. Then you will get what you expect with this value taken into account. This value I, which depends on the nature of the solute in the solvent, we give a name for that, right? It is Van 't Hoff factor. So, Van 't Hoff factor also now I have to take into account. So, now delta T be equal to Kb into m, no, Kb into I into m, that also I have to take into account. Delta Tf equal to Kf into not just m, Kf into I into m. Same way, one more relation, yesterday we studied, what is that? Osmotic pressure. What is the osmotic pressure that we wrote? Finally, pi equal to CRT. So, it is not just I equal to CRT, concentration in terms of molarity, again recall, don't forget. So, it is not just pi equal to CRT, it is pi equal to ICRT or whatever you want, ICRT or CIRT, whatever you want. What that which you are doing? You are introducing this factor. So, when you introduce this factor, no problem. Then, how to find out? Sir, if sodium chloride is put, is it always 2? No, it may be 2 and at the maximum 2. Why at the maximum 2? That means if the complete sodium chloride dissociates, I will have double the number of particles. If some units of sodium and chlorine, if they don't dissociate, then what will happen? That value may be 1.8, 1.9 like that. So, this 1.8, 1.9 if I get, right, it will help me to understand what is the nature of the solute. That means complete substance, complete sodium chloride is not dissociating. Only some percentage of sodium chloride is dissociating, some percentage is not dissociating. Why it is happening? Who are you to ask? That sodium chloride will decide. It is according to its wish. Okay, I will not dissociate, I will remain like this only. Can't help. So, with that, what is that which you can find out? So, the given solute in the given solvent, to what extent it will undergo dissociation, that also we can find out. Again, this was understood somewhere, extent of dissociation. Yes, somebody is saying, in the chapter equilibrium last year, well understood, where when we talked about acids, bases, what the time we talked about? Why a given acid is strong acid, why a given other acid is weak acid? Who helped us? To what extent undergoing dissociation? Acetic acid is a weak acid. Acetic acid is weak acid. What will happen? Why it is weak acid? All the amount of H plus ions which you expect from CH3COOH you will not get. If you take acetic acid and put it in water, only a small amount of acetic acid will undergo dissociation. You will not get from 1 mole of H plus ions, you will not get. you will get only small amount, weak acid. Right? And then there is another property of this. There is another property of this acetic acid when I put in water. Right? What is that? Other property of acetic acid. Before you answer to me what is the property of acetic acid, we had understood in the chapter chemical bond. Now tell me what are the different types of bonds that we have studied. I'm seeing what you are saying. Covalent bond, polar covalent bond, extreme polar covalent bond. What is this extreme polar covalent bond? Equal sharing, slightly unequal sharing, extreme unequal sharing. For this extreme unequal sharing of electrons, extreme unequal sharing, we gave a different name. What is that? Ionic bond or electrovalent bond. Then apart from this, we studied some other bonds. Hydrogen bond. In that hydrogen bond, we came across two types of hydrogen bonds. Yes? Yes, Prajwal is saying. Intermolecular hydrogen bond, intramolecular hydrogen bond, studied. And one more, metallic bond. All this we studied. And one more, what is that? Coordinate covalent bond. So many bonds we studied. Quickly. Covalent, equal sharing, slightly unequal, polar covalent bond, extreme unequal. Quickly. Ionic bond. Then hydrogen bond, in that two varieties. Afterwards, coordinate covalent bond. Keep this in mind. I want them here now. Acetic acid. What is the structure of acetic acid if I want to write? We know formula is CH3COOH. If I want to write the structure of it, CH3, C, how that OOH are present in that unit? Double bond OH, CH3COOH. Hydrogen bond. No, it is clear, bond between oxygen and hydrogen. Where is hydrogen bond? Intramolecular? No. Intermolecular, is it possible? CH3, COH, double bond O. Can I write like this? Same. CH3COOH. But for convenience, for understanding, I am writing like this. So what? Now where is this hydrogen? Where is this hydrogen? When acetic acid molecules are like that, where is this hydrogen? Where is this hydrogen? What is that? Your hydrogen is between two electronegative atoms, oxygens. So what will happen? This hydrogen, this oxygen, right, because of electronegative character, will have partial negative charge. This oxygen has pulled that electron shared with hydrogen. This hydrogen will have partial positive charge. Now what will happen? This partial positive, partial negative, there is attractive force. What is it? Intermolecular hydrogen bond. Same way here. Intermolecular hydrogen bond. So if I put acetic acid into water, if acetic acid molecules behave normally, how many acetic acid molecules? Forget about it giving H plus ions. Forget about what else is happening. Two acetic acid molecules that are present in the three-dimensional space like that. What has happened? Two units are existing as one unit. We expected so many acetic acid molecules present, but what has happened? Two acetic acid molecules are together existing as one unit. So if I put 1 mole of acetic acid, we will not have that Avogadro number of molecules there in that. We will have half the number of acetic acid molecules or half the Avogadro number of particles inside. So what is that molar mass which I am going to get based on the colligative property? Depends on how many particles are present. And later when I calculate the molar mass based on the colligative property, right, I will not get Molar mass of acetic acid, as we said, 60 grams I will not get. That is going to give me 120 grams per mole. I expected 60 grams, I get 120 grams. Why 120 grams? Because of association. Why that association has taken place? Hydrogen bond. Hydrogen bond has led for the particles to get associated. 120 grams. Clear? So, solution is giving exactly how many particles are present, what is the mass of that particle, it is giving me the answer, but we did not understand. There is no doubt in the property of the solution, it is giving the exact values, we did not understand properly. We expected Avogadro number of particles, but there only half the number of Avogadro number particles are present. Based on that, it is giving me the value. And there is no point in sitting and crying, I want 60 grams, why I am getting 120 grams? No, we have to find a way. What is the way? Van't Hoff factor will help. Here what has happened? Association of the particles has happened. Two things can happen when you put a solute. So, number of particles can be as expected, or the number of particles can be double, triple, depending on which substance you are putting in, or it can be less than the expected number of particles. How? Like this, association takes place. And then instead of getting 120 grams, suppose you get 90 grams per mole. You expected 60 grams, but you get 90 grams. That means all the acetic acid molecules did not get involved in formation of two particles as one unit. Some particles are still living as CH3COH only, and some particles got associated and then. So, now with this what that which I can find out? I can find out extent of association. Extent of association. Earlier we talked about extent of dissociation. Now, when the observed masses are more than, when calculated masses which are abnormal are more than expected. More than expected means association has taken place. To what extent association has taken place? Again, find out how much you expect, how much you got, that will give me the percentage of association that has taken place. Clear? So, don't forget about Van't Hoff factor. In the examination, if Van't Hoff factor is not given, in the examination to solve a problem, if Van't Hoff factor is not given, take it as 1. That means your solute that you have put is going to behave as you expect. 1 molar mass I am putting, 1 Avogadro number of particles are going to be present, then only Van't Hoff factor is going to be 1. Only thing is, you have to be careful when the given solute is going to either get involved in association or dissociation, then this value. I value will be less than 1. I value will be less than 1 when? I value will be less than 1 when? If it undergoes association. Because you get, for example, for acetic acid, 120 grams you get. To get 60 grams, what that which you should do? Right? Here we multiplied by 2 for sodium chloride, etc., or 3 if it was magnesium chloride. Here, if the value of Van't Hoff factor is less than 1, that means you have to divide. When you divide, if you divide by 2, you get your 60 grams per mole. So, when association takes place, Van't Hoff factors will be less than 1. If dissociation takes place, Van't Hoff factor will be more than 1. Keep this in mind. If Van't Hoff factor is not given, take it as 1 and solve the problem. Clear? And then there is other way of deciding or defining this Van't Hoff factor. Normal molar mass, abnormal molar mass. Other way is, what is the other way? You arrived at colligative properties with the help of observed or calculated properties. So, that is observed colligative property and divided by expected colligative property. So, Van't factor is again a ratio between observed colligative by expected colligative property. Again, to relate what we studied so far, observed colligative property, 1 mole of sodium chloride I put, elevation in boiling point, I expect how much? Expect how much? By 1 degree Celsius. This is expected. How much is going to be the elevation in boiling point? By 2 degrees Celsius. Observed is by 2 degrees Celsius elevation in boiling point. Expected because you have put 1 mole. So, according to 1 mole that you have put, suppose it is 1 degree raise in temperature, boiling point, but you will not get 1 degree raise in temperature, right? You will observe a 2 degree raise in temperature. Observed is, expected is, what is the ratio? 2. Earlier for same sodium chloride, what is that which I had? 2. So, I need not again know the molar mass. Just find out, okay, from this substance, this is what I expect, this is what is observed, that ratio also is called Van't factor. So, once you keep this in mind, problems will come. So, whenever you write the relation for delta TB, delta TF, pi, don't simply do away with delta TB equal to KB into M, KF into M, CRT, no, introduce this value. Keep this in mind. A question can come, define what is Van't factor. Either you can write this or the previous one which I rubbed at the same place. Remember, that is Van't factor. Clear? So, with this or regarding this, so many problems in the textbook. From my side, later problems will follow. Solve them, you will be happy. Take care. Bye.